Welcome to episode 510 of Fourth and Jawn. I'm Gail Saunders here with Mr. Primo, aka Prime, in the building, and Tim Armstrong. And today is a breaking news podcast with Za'Darius Smith being a signing, but also we're going to talk about the big win. Obviously, the Eagles win, and that's with a lot of exclamation points. Okay, like in the win in a way is like it's a win. But I think this Victory Monday feels like Eagle fans are, I don't know, not enjoying it as much as they should be. I think you beat the Cowboys. It's the opening week of the NFL. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, the heated rivals. Obviously, losing Jalen Carter, it was a shock to the system. Yes, but the positive of it all is the teams came together, got the dub in a weird type situation. The game was kind of weird. We had a lightning suspension. Eagle fans going home at around 2 a.m. That this is not normal. So the fact that with all that being said, they come out being 1-0, and whether you want to look at how many targets AJ Brown had, or whatever the case, Eagles are 1-0, and they beat the rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Prime, what say you? I mean, how you feeling? Are you jacked up?
I'm definitely still recovering from a great event that we had yesterday with the game, the tailgate. It felt great to, start it all over again. But yeah, I mean, hey, we're talking about the first game of the season. I always feel that the first 2-3 weeks is sloppy. We've experienced that in the past seasons. Last year it was the same. We started off real bad, and then we started questioning a lot of things, and then look at the outcome. Here we ended up getting our second Super Bowl of our lifetime. So like this is just the grind that we got to pretty much, I don't want to say get accustomed to, but you kind of like have to already be prepared for. It was definitely some ugly football. The game started off rough with the whole ejection by Jalen Carter. Then you had the injury. So like it's already like it's already one of those, what the hell, what's going to happen here. There was some slight excitement. I think Jalen played his behind off. Everybody's always looking for those Tom Brady, Josh Allen stats. The man just does the job, and that to me, that's good enough. He just puts the certain pieces to the puzzle together, and look at the outcome. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk a little bit more about the things that were very upsetting to see. Number 8, Adoree Jackson. I call him Adoree Basura, which is trash. In Spanish. But man, it was heartbreaking. But look, at the end of it all, like you said, man, we're 1-0. On to the next week, and we got some good news about maybe 10 minutes ago about a signing that we've been talking about maybe happening, and looks like they ended up pulling the trigger.
I'm just going to take a little page of Aaron Rodgers and just relax. Last year, the expectations off the tail end of last season was belt to ass to the Chiefs, but this is a new season, new team, and we have a lot of returning pieces, which is huge, but we did change some key positions. The other thing is this is a divisional game. Anybody who went in there and they thought we were going to blow them out by 24 points, I didn't see that, but I wanted to see what we had, and we also saw what Dallas had. So the fact that we came out there with a win after losing Jalen Carter, which was wild. Text messages were flying pregame within the first 3 minutes. Everybody was kind of up in arms about that. There definitely was some pieces that made you scratch your head, where I'm sure we're going to touch base on it and have a combo about it. But overall, the players that we needed to step up did their thing. Jalen Hurts balled out yesterday. And by him making those plays, not on design runs, mostly on scrambles, just shows where his head's at, because he's looking to throw the ball. But I think huge upside. This team has a lot of room to grow. And this first week one, we're 1-0. We started against a division rival 1-0.
Now, I mean, if we're gonna give game balls out, obviously, I felt like Jalen Hurts. If you were at the tailgate, shout out to everyone that attended the tailgate. It was it was a great scene. It was so many people that at one point I couldn't even make it across, but everybody was in unison with the idea of Dallas sucks. So I mean, the vibes pregame were fire. I think everybody was excited about what was about to transpire in the stadium. But shout out to everyone that was involved, man. I appreciate everyone that attended. First, it starts with you guys attending, supporting. But shout out to Bud Light for holding down the tailgate. Shout out to uh, our newest sponsor, Recover 180. Recover 180 came in clutch. Um, these guys, their first time tailgating, their experience, they had a great time. They enjoyed the fans out there. They had the fans had so much fun they drank almost everything. But we came out with a victory, and we came out with loads of recovery, recover 180 in the fridge right now. And I'm telling you, I'm not even. It's some good stuff. But what's good? Some also good stuff is what our defense did without Jalen Carter. Now, I mean the Dory Jackson stuff. My thing is without Jalen Carter, interior pressure, that is an extra second that we're going to give CD Lamb versus Adoree, regardless of any corner. CD Lamb on most corners is a mismatch. So did you? I mean, you're expecting better play. I mean, he did get a tip ball later in the game, but in general, anytime you have these mismatches, it's going to happen against CD Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. He definitely has some, some nice plays, but those got overshadowed with the amount of plays that he didn't have that were nice. Like, I mean, you gotta.
we're gonna have these give ups. It's gonna happen. But in general, like it's a big difference without Jalen Carter. It is complete difference. I thought Dak Prescott had a lot of time back there, and that would not happen if he wasn't there. I thought Nolan Smith was getting some pressure there, but he was just close enough. Obviously got to go back and rewatch some things because this is the initial reaction. But overall, I think the Za'Darius Smith signing very interesting because what is the front office saying by that pick? So, I mean, any other game balls you want to give out?
It's unfortunate that Summern went down. You hate to see that. You know what I mean? We've got the luxury of meeting up with him a couple times. Great personality, great person. It's unfortunate that he's down. Didn't want to see that, especially the way it happened on the first play. But there was another guy on defense that I thought balled out. And he might not have loaded up the stat sheet. He might not be everybody, but Zach Baun did everything he was supposed to yesterday. He was all over the field, played his position. He's a glue guy. He just plays his position, does exactly what he needs to do. And then you look at it afterwards and you're like, oh, he had 9 tackles solo. Like, that's impressive. But you don't notice that during the game. And I said that to somebody I was talking to earlier, when the expectation is one thing and you're already there. Like, I would give a game ball to him on defense, 100%.
Go ahead, Prom.
On the offensive side, I mean, besides, of course, Jalen holding it down and doing his thing. Yeah, it was real nice to see Dallas Goedert as much as he was in action yesterday. You know what I mean? Some clutch catches, and I think he had like about 7 receptions. So he was put to work. Didn't see that coming, like at least that soon. And hey, I'm glad to see that he did what he did, and he definitely gets a game ball from me.
Who was the player that you said?
Dallas Goedert.
Zach Baun. Zach Baun made some nice plays. The hustle plays that I think it was in the hype video he was just talking about giving effort and stuff like that. It showed up. I mean, the fact that he got Miles Sanders from behind, that was crazy. I'm like, he's not catching him.
Yeah, he caught him.
And he caught him. I mean, it's that kind of effort that you love to see. I think the Georgia boys collectively, without Jalen Carter, they hung on, man. I think that's a lot of snaps for Jordan Davis to take on. But he was out there. Holding it down. But overall, I think who else did I mean? Quinyon Mitchell had some decent decent times during the game. I think to seal the victory, I think the hands. We got to talk about consistency at the catch point because he's got
I,
a potential 8 interceptions that he's might have
yeah,
missed.
yeah. I thought Campbell did a great job yesterday as well, playing the other side of the linebacker position. There was Baldinger. I don't know if you guys caught it. If you guys get a chance, go catch the clip. But I mean, he gave a breakdown on how Campbell ended up catching up on a play that was almost wide open to the tight end for the Cowboys, and he just got over there at the last minute and threw his hands up, and I think it actually hit his helmet. And potential possibilities somebody could have intercepted the ball, but wasn't. But yeah, I mean, it was just like those type of reactions. I mean, last minute reactions and getting to the play at the last minute really helped out. So I thought he was pretty clutch as well.
I'm talking about I'm trying to see who else that I mean I like the deep shot to Jahan Dotson. I think if that connection, which could have been strengthened down in Houston while they were out there practicing together, I'd love to see it. I mean, just the back-to-back games where Jahan Dotson has had a deep shot that it was a big part of the game. I think you'll continue to see that. I do think when you get a win like this, and obviously, I mean, I played the wide receiver position. If you don't get a catch in the first quarter, it's all right. It's all right. Second quarter, you don't have a catch. It's like, third quarter, no targets. It's a tough scene. So from A.J. Brown, I think he's just got to get into a place where new offense, new things, better corner covering you. I thought the corners they bracketed him well. I think Patullo has to come up with some better crossing routes, some rub routes, get these guys, manufacture some of these touches just to get them into the flow of the game. Obviously the beats are gonna sit there and beat this thing to death after the game, just drum up some confrontational. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. I'm hoping and praying AJ's good. And he's like, all right, we got the win. I mean, that's the most important thing, right? I mean, we didn't get crazy stats from Saquon Barkley yesterday. Is he going to be beefing that he didn't get his 100 yards? So I don't think it's a problem. But what say you?
But we have to have it in the back of our mind. Like a matter of fact, I think we all have in the back of our mind. How is he really going to go ahead and react? You know what I'm saying? So yes, thank God we haven't heard anything as of yet. But we still got plenty of time until the next game. And, I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody out of the media is going to go ahead and poke him. They're going to poke the bear, and the bear's going to end up speaking out about it. So, we'll see. But, hey, listen, when he got the catch last night, that was a great ovation he ended up getting. I mean, I was one in the crowd screaming out Ayo like he asked us to. But, I was trying to get everybody to get on the same page. But, hey, look, man, it was just good to see, he definitely got his first reception of the season.
I mean, my big thing was his body language wasn't poor on the sidelines. I watched it back today, and that's the biggest thing is when you see a receiver or something like that who their mentals are so key to make sure they're in tune and they're locked into the game. He was smiling, he was joking around, and they're in the comments. Philly Sport Pride said it looked like he might have been more of a decoy. Is he 100% after that hamstring? Because there was a lot of routes where I didn't see him finishing things. Like, I'm not saying he was a decoy, but he might have just been taking it a little easy.
I absolutely agree with you, man. Yeah, they talked about the hamstring, and of course he's going to go ahead and give it his all, and that's what he did. And he was probably that could have been the game plan. I mean, everything that I'm saying, I'm hoping I am wrong. Maybe that was part of the game plan. That was his thing the whole time. And if it was, I'm gonna tell you right now, he played the hell out of it. He played the hell out of it because he was getting the attention that he was sent out there to go ahead and draw, and that's what opened up the game for Dallas. And then Devontae, I believe, had 3 receptions. That was pretty clutch, and then, Saquon doing his thing. So yeah, I think if that was the game plan, it was a well executed game plan indeed.
My thing with A.J. Brown, I think, I mean, we do have to realize he had better corners on him. It's not like he had a scrub on him. Obviously, if He's been picked before, thrown that way. He's gotta be honest with himself. When you have a check down and Goddard sitting right in front of you, take the check down. I'm not mad at that. Those 5-yard turnarounds. I was just like, every time Goddard got hit, I was like, come on, boy, get up. All right, okay, we're good. You good? All right, let's go. But in general, I mean, because everyone's like, oh, the offense, like, but we scored on the first 3 drives, man. I mean, the first couple drives. I mean, it was like we normally it took us a while to score in the first quarter.
Yeah.
But I think you're just wondering what the identity of this team is. I mean, the Patulo identity, but also if you lose your starting fullback, was there part of some of these running plays that they wanted to break out? Were they able to even they're going to have to come up with a backup plan for that? So just think about some things that shifted early on in the game, and then when Toth came in, I was like JT Real Muto, and I was like, but it is what like, hey, that's your depth, and they come in. But I was just like, I know people were wondering what the update on Landon is. Was he was dealing with a back, right? And then Shipley's dealing with a rib injury.
I know. I
Yeah.
knew that.
Should be.
I knew that
It should
Dickerson
be
was
pretty
back, but I watched it back today when he kind of got rolled up.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it was leg or knee or anything, but it didn't seem like it was back. If anything, it was like he was leaning towards his hip. You know what I mean? Where it could have been bothering him on his back. I never got a straight answer on where his back was bothering him. But it was a specific play when he kind of got rolled up on. It wasn't really horribly rolled up on, but it was enough to where I was like, ooh. And then he got up gingerly. I was like, oh, that's not good. You could just tell those goofy plays is when usually linemen get hurt. But the touch on the Goddard, I loved him finding those Kelsey-esque windows in the zone. He's really he's starting to figure it out. Like, he sees those spots, you know what I mean? Maybe a normal route, he take an extra 5 yards, but he's like, nah, I'm going to post up right here and just turn around. He finds those little soft spots and then his ability to run after the catch. So I was really impressed with Goddard last night. Even though the stat sheets weren't up here, he did his job, first downs, catch the ball. I agree 100% with that.
I mean, to me, mismatches are everything. If you have the opportunity to hit a mismatch, take it. It's like I'm always saying, like, take what the defense gives you. Do not be upset and try to force your hand when you don't have to. When the deep shot is there, I say take it. Obviously, Mr. AJ Brown should be always open, and if you wanted to take more deep shots to him, I could understand. But if he felt like he was locked up at that point, then you go elsewhere, and I'm cool with that. But obviously, G is here. Jordan Davis had a low key great game. If you haven't watched Brian Baldinger's breakdown on Davis, go check it out. He was putting in work. Daz says our boy Q still can't catch football. Daz also says, please go get a legit cornerback too. Now, this I had a lot of conversations with people about, and this is why when I say how good Slay was and how it was great to have Quinyon, this is what it looks like when you don't have a competent, like, and I'm not like other around the league. You look at other teams like their CB2s. Like last year, it's not like we had a CB2. We had competent corners. There was no, you know, other teams have a fall off, and then you got Quinyon, and then there's a fall off. So we just have to figure out what Bennett is, and the fact that people were looking for corners on the street. It's really not. You're gonna have to wait close to the trade deadline. You look at the writing on the wall. I mean, like if you see in Seattle, Tariq Woolen ain't getting a contract, and you want to make a trade for that last year. I mean, I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying what are your options at this point? So go. You could do it yourself. Look around the league. Look at a guy on a rookie contract in his last year, not getting a contract from that team, and that will be the Eagles' target, perhaps. But we'll see. We'll see. A lot of people in the comments are giving mad love to Jahad Campbell. I thought Drew Makuba was flying around nicely. For the people who weren't saying he wasn't going to play much, but What did you guys think of Will Shipley? I thought Will Shipley, and AJ Dillon filled in nicely with their roles last night.
Yeah, I mean they both had some pretty good runs. It was good. It was nice to see AJ Dillon with his with the one run that he had, and then Shipley. I mean, the hit on the kickoff return was vicious. I mean, it happened on my side. When I saw it, I was like, ugh. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't even come back, and the next thing you know, he's out for the rest of the game. I'm like, yeah, it didn't look too good, but it's football. But other than that, I think just to see that they, filled in with the giving Saquon a breather or two, they filled in pretty nice, and I think we're definitely good in that position. We ain't got nothing to worry about. Hoping for Shipley to get a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me with the running back position is consistency, and I don't need a running back gaining 12 yards a pop. It's nice if they do, but just whole assignments, jobs. If you decide to do pass protection, seeing some of those guys pick up pass protection is huge because it's an underappreciated role from the running back, and to know that when you go on from your 1 to your 2 to even your 3rd running back, that pass protection's there. If you decide to go that route, it builds more confidence in your offense. So I like seeing that. And then guys just hitting their hole assignments. I mean, Will Shipley's like a machine. They tell him to go in the hole. He waits for that second delay, and he's following his blockers the best he can. So I love seeing that out of your 2 and 3 running back. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I thought AJ Dillon pushed that pile pretty nice. I think we did get to see a couple tush pushes last night. I thought that the way that I mean, obviously weird game. The fact that the lightning was a thing, and to be honest, at some point in that game, once the lightning hit, I was sitting in the concourse area, and I'm like, bruh, I'm heading home because I live close enough to the stadium that I could just get in the car, and by the time I got home, I took a shower, was feeling fresh, and then I was on the couch. I was like, this is better than what I was dealing with in section 220. I'm just going to describe my night in 220. I saw a couple potential fight, right? A lot of cussing, a lot of back and forth, a lot of middle fingers. Trying to watch the game, a lot of yelling. I saved an older woman who fell. Someone got bumped her out of the staircase area, and then I called her, and then the crowd was like, "Great catch, bro!" A lot of stuff was going on, and I'm like, I just want to watch the game. So I went home and watched the rest of the game, and it's a weird scene when half the stadium leaves, and then a lot of Eagle fans got to move up. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
I mean, when the lightning happened, I was there with my brother, and I told him, I was like, listen, when it comes to these type of situations, this could change the game. This can change the momentum for anybody. So we're about to go find out who's it going to change for you guys or for us. He felt it changed more for them, which, hey, look, that's fine. It did, I mean, especially, with the way things ended for them. CD, I got to be honest with you, man. I just was very surprised to see CD miss a lot of those catches that he did last night. Like, that's just not CD land, man. I mean, I saw, the defenders being beat, and I was like, with my head down, like, damn, here comes another big play. But hey, CD, just wasn't clutch. CD wasn't CD last night, and I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm happy CD didn't show up. But other than that, I also had some encounters around our area. There was a fight that broke out, almost like really broke out, right around the same time Jalen Carter got ejected. Like, the guy didn't even those two guys didn't even have a chance to enjoy the game. They already got kicked out, booted out of the stadium. And then we had the privilege to having two goats sitting behind us, Brandon Graham and Michael Jordan. Saw Michael Jordan sitting right behind us, and that was pretty cool. Of course, a lot of people's fandom kicked in and wanted to take pictures and stuff like that. And the man just wanted to enjoy the game, and I was enjoying the game, but I ain't gonna lie. The minute I caught a moment, I ended up taking my phone and I started taking pictures back there. Like, that's the closest I'm probably ever gonna get to that, man. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna just go for it. But yeah, I feel you, man. It was just like you look around and then you see the hatred and everything, you know, maybe with this division and the fans and all that stuff. But just as well as you were, I just wanted to catch the game and enjoy it. And it was kind of rough with, you know, the amount of time we were out there yesterday. I mean, it was a long damn day. So it started kicking in probably by like second quarter. And I mean, I was drained. I was drained.
That was a big thing I was going to bring up because, like Gail, unfortunately, my wife started not feeling too well, and we had to head out early. And it was one of those things where she said it, and I was like, "What?" Like, and I looked at her, and she just, you could tell she wasn't feeling hot. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I got to be a good husband." And I'm like, "Can't we wait till this drive's over?" And she was like, "Okay." And I'm like, "All right, I'm pushing a little bit," because she wasn't feeling good. She's still not feeling great today. So I did my thing as a husband. But as we're walking out, they make the announcement, and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Can we get to the car a little quicker? If we're gonna watch this thing from home, I don't want to miss anything." So we flew home, and same thing as Gail. I was lucky enough to catch the rest of the live in front, but definitely it was a little warmer yesterday. Not what you're used to necessarily for football season, and I'm fairly confident we spent 2 full tailgates out there yesterday. So anybody who's not in the Philly area, if you want to catch up, there's been some issues with SEPTA. So everybody was aware of this. So everybody got down very early to make sure they got their spots in line and make sure they had their spot in their designated tailgate. But by the time we finished up, I felt like we went through 2 full tailgates, legitimately.
Now, shout out to Fox 29. They had us on early in the morning. I was trying to like wait it out as long as I could. We got there like 6 in the morning. But it was we saw Chris Lee. Actually, I'm looking at the teleprompter and looking at the screen. I see Chris Lee getting his interview. Shout out to Chris Lee. Brought the cookies to the tailgate, which has become a big hit. Now people online are asking about, can they buy those cookies? See, Chris is creating a business for himself right before your eyes. But shout out to Chris Lee, holding us down. Him and his Sealy ricotta cookies. He was having a good time out there, and again, shout out to a lot of you that were having a good time. Shout out to Helena that was out there. Shout out to Carissa in the chat who's was out there as well. The cool thing about it, having the tailgates is it's I mean, you have the tailgate before the tailgate, which is actually out on the street. Bunch of guys who are crazy just like us. And I get it. Some Eagle fans be like, this is what you do. Like, yeah, I mean, this is what we all do. We like to be down there. This is what, talk some birds. This is, you really got to get in there. Like, well, for you to enjoy yourself at these tailgates, yeah, we do have to get down there early. So I just want to shout out to you guys, Prime, Tim, and other Tim Kincaid, and Evan, and Chris Lee, and there's a whole bunch of people that come together to make these things happen. Special people. If it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be possible. So, like, just to see everybody enjoying themselves and having a good time at parts of the tailgate is always the best part. And then after it's done, all said and done, in our group chat, everybody's like, "Did you have a good time?" We had a good time. That's really really the point. That's the point of it. It is what it is.
It definitely was. It definitely was crazy. My bad. So good.
No, you're good. Yesterday, we normally have some people venture in from all over the place. I don't know if you guys noticed, but yesterday was heavy out of towners. I had Canada, Ohio, lots of Florida. I was very
Utah, North Carolina,
UK.
UK was in there. Like we had some heavy hitters. That was cool. Because we usually get 1 or 2, but everybody was like, I'm from here. And I was just like, okay.
The Canadian fans, they were the funniest, because as soon as they get into like 20 seconds into their conversation, and it's like, hey, like Canada? Yeah. Like, okay.
I saw the first Eagle fan that I met from Oklahoma. I was like, I think you might be the first Oklahoma Eagle fan I've met. I was like, I see him from everywhere else, but never Oklahoma.
I was able to catch a real Aboot, Guy threw one out, and I was from Canada, and I said, "You really say that? Like that's not." He was like a boot. He's like, so this is what you guys are all about? And I was like,
A boot. Yes.
okay.
Now, Nick asks, "Are we concerned about the offensive play calling with the lack of pass game?" I just go back to Green Bay, Eagles, and Brazil in the passing attack and what that looked like, and the interceptions that were thrown, and like this is what it looks like week one. Another new coordinator. I'm sure they'll get it together, but I'm just saying, with all being said, that it is the first week. This is, again, they didn't have preseason. Like, we can be hypercritical, but I think as Eagle fans, we have to look back at what last season was and what transpired and what it looked like. We were 2-2 after 4 games, and we knew the talent they had. And you're like, this doesn't look like. Just give it time. Give it a Aaron Rodgers. Don't like to really quote Aaron Rodgers, but when I do, it's the relax. And I think, again, we all get hyped up. I get it. It's the first week.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said, I'm not the elephant in the room, but the Jalen Carter issue. We've seen a switch turn on in Jalen Carter on the field, off the field. The time he almost went after Sirianni. This is like being the Incredible Hulk when you have to change. You have to control the Hulk smash and control when you turn into brute force. But I think Dak spit first. Hashtag Dak spit first. He didn't spit on him, but I don't know if you guys know Bill Romanowski. You younger fans probably didn't see the spit around the world that was even worse than what we just saw. But
Way worse.
I just think I'm wondering where you guys stand on, like, we're all pissed that he didn't. But I'm trying to look at it from a positive spin. And when they go back in, what's his coaching point? They won without Jalen Carter, but now Jalen Carter, what are the leaders telling him in the locker room? And my biggest concern is, what is the league going to do to Jalen Carter?
Yeah, and that's just the thing. I mean, that's what we all have in the back of our minds right now. Like, he got ejected, and it's a possibility he could go ahead and probably set out next week's game as well. Another key game that we're going against, a rematch against the guys that we beat for the Super Bowl. Look, after finding out what Dak did, it's still no excuse on why Jalen even had to do what he did. You know what I mean? Like, I understand there's, he reacted. I get it. I react as well. But I mean, like, damn, to just go and spit directly on somebody, like, that's going deep in the box to go do some crazy shit like that. And, that's what he did. He went deep inside the box. But I really hope that the league just takes this all into consideration, what actually happened, what triggered it. I'm pretty sure Jalen's going to suffer consequences. I get it. It's already in the back of my mind that he's not going to be there, but I just hope they don't leave Dak Prescott alone on this. Like, they need to also, because I mean, in plain sight, you see the man laughing, egging him on, and then, yeah, he didn't spit on him, but he spit. Like, come on, man. He spit in his direction. If you wanted to go spit just to go spit, you're not going to go spit in that man's direction. You go spit to the right, to the left.
Where's the taunting?
All right. And then, I mean,
and
then on top of that, I mean, you're talking about taunting. Let's talk about all the bullshit that was going on yesterday. Sean Smith and his refereeing crew, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, come on. They got to do better. Those calls were ridiculous, man. I mean, Nolan Smith, I've seen a couple of the Cowboys when they made plays stand right over some of our players and nothing got called. And then they're going to go throw a flag on Nolan Smith. You saw Jalen Hurts get hit 3 yards off out of bounds and no flag got called. And then Reed Blankenship's hit, like, that wasn't it's not like he was leading to make that hit. It was a boom boom play. Like you go back and you look at it, like, come on, man, like that almost got out of hand there. But you know, it's all behind us and everything, and here we are with one win in our division and 1-0 already, so we're good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to drag this out longer than it has to, but I'm heavily involved with coaching youth sports. He's still a young guy, and anybody knows when you grow up in different situations, you react instead of logically think things through. And when you're pushed on a different level right now and you're ready to go, it's difficult to say to that person that we're just going to pump the brakes, stop, and then everything's fine. So in no way, shape, or form was either party right, wrong, like defensive. Like everybody was at fault. I'm not going to go around the horn and say this guy was more at fault or this guy. Like it was a bad situation. It's over. They'll take what they have. I personally think both are getting fines because of when it happened in the game, because he hadn't taken a snap, so he got a full suspension. So me looking from a logical perspective, he didn't play the entire game. It's not like this happened in the third quarter where more punishment needs to be taken down if they see that way. But I definitely think both parties get fined. I think that it's something we get past, and it's something that I'm just going to say, when Jalen Carter smiles, that scares me more than anything else, because he's not happy. I can just tell you that right now. He is past the point of, I have words for you. I am just going to, things are going to happen.
Yeah, when I looked at and I was like, was that a smart move by Dak actually to get him out of his, like, because you're like, yeah, is that smart? Because the next time around, he's coming for you. So I feel like, you woke the beast. That's one thing. When I was in the NovaCare, I've heard about Jalen Carter is his beast mode. Beware. So, yeah, the next time we play the Cowboys, I'm sure Jalen Carter is going to bring it to you, like tenfold. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. Shout out to Brianna in the building. Shout out to
I
Brianna.
will say, if anybody's seen some of the edits that are now happening with that situation, they have made me smirk a couple times with the. Have you seen that? What was that girl that was famous with the reporting with the Hot Tua girl? Yeah. They have her edited in for Jalen Carter. That one made me laugh.
I had a meme I was going to put out there, and I might run it by you guys first. Might have to do something with a llama. I was like, but well, I just I'll show it to you all first. But it's just a crazy thing, and it's one of those things where everyone's going to get on there. They're going to take. I mean, obviously, if you're a national pundit, you're going to try to put, make this bigger than what it is. It's a mistake, obviously, and then the coaching staff, the way that they use this as a coaching point, will be even better. Like, it's about like what could have happened and what didn't happen, but how the team came together through adversity. We'll see. I mean, and then to make we're 1-0, right? We're 1-0, right? Okay, we're 1-0.
And that right now, the situation that happened, it's in the past, but it makes me more intrigued of what's going to happen next. I mean, to Grail's point earlier, I think Van Sumeren was going to have a bigger role in the offensive plan. So when he's out, that changes the whole offensive script. That changes everything. The defensive plan completely flipped. So yes, was there things we need to work on? I'm sure we're going to touch on it with the signing that we brought in that everybody's excited about. But for the most part, are we going to see a different version of our team next week when they game plan the offense differently and we bring in some players on defense? One of them our starting tackle, and then possibly somebody we just brought onto the roster.
Well, talking about a guy, Za'Darius Smith. If you've been listening to the pod, I know people we've been texting about Za'Darius Smith, possible options. I know a couple of people asked one move that you'd like to see the Eagles potentially make, and Za'Darius Smith was that dude. So the fact that he's here, I'm excited about it because I think I think maybe a better overall edge that gives you more than just a situational pass rusher, obviously, but potentially stronger against the run than some of the guys that you do have here. I think if you go look at social media, a lot of Lions fans are like, why are they not signing him? Why is he not here? And Dan Campbell in a message had meant in a presser had mentioned that at the moment we're good. And then his girlfriend went on Instagram and also commented, "We're good." And the next day, he signs with the Eagles. So they were like, we're taking our talents to Philly. So I mean, he turns 33 in 3 days. This is his sixth team. He was a fourth round pick back in 2015. 2019, he signed with the Packers, and he spent 2022 in Minnesota before signing with the Browns in 2023. He's a three-time Pro Bowler, has 69 career sacks and 3 double-digit sack seasons. So I mean, he's a guy with he's a guy with a resume, and I think he's a better quality. It's not an APR. It's not Patrick Johnson. It's not Ojolari. And it's not Okor. I'm not gonna even butcher his name, but he's a better depth piece than what we have.
I mean, my thing with that, and I got brought up to Gale. I didn't get a chance to talk to you at Prime, but there was another guy that we signed on at kind of roughly the same age, maybe a little bit younger, but Michael Bennett, and we took him. And he was a veteran in the league, still able to produce. And he came in, he was a puzzle piece that fit right into that defense, and he was able to step in and contribute. I think that's what they were looking for. Everybody was looking for superstars or Hendrickson and stuff like that. Like, I think this is a right fit for a guy that knows where he's at in the league, understands what he's able to do. Fangio's going to be clear with him on what he expects his role to be. I'm sure they've had that conversation before ink went to paper. So when he comes in here, I think that he's going to contribute right off the bat. And I love the signing. I think he's going to be somebody that we're going to be at the end of the year happy on what he was able to produce for the team.
Yeah, I'm a Za'Darius Smith fan, to be honest with you. Even when he played with Cleveland before he got signed to Detroit, I thought the dude was a stud. I thought it was a steal in Detroit's end last year, as the season went on, and I thought that was going to help them boost, especially with Hutchinson going down with the ACL. So, hey, look, man, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we pulled the trigger. It's you go into last night's game and you look about people are talking about we weren't able to produce a sack. It's still early. Again, we're still playing. I always look at we play sloppy football the first couple weeks. Once we get those first couple weeks out the way, then you start worrying. My brother asked me last night, like, hey, do you think we missed Micah right there? Like, bro, it's too early to tell. It's only the first week. Second week, you're probably still not even going to look at it as you're missing Micah. And then the third week, when shit starts getting really put together, then who knows? Maybe you might miss Micah. I think they missed Micah because just like we didn't have Jalen to cause Dak any pressure, they didn't have Micah really to go ahead and cause any pressure. Not that I felt like he was going to do anything much, going up against Lane, and Lane pretty much owns him. That's Lane's bitch. So, like, hey, I don't think it would have really made a difference, but that's just the way the game played. For the very beginning, when Jalen gets ejected, that's the first thing I thought. Like, man, that's going to change the game plan completely. Who was actually expecting those running backs to run down the middle the way they did and get those yardages that they did? You know what I'm saying? And then Miles Sanders, of course, of all people, gets that breakout run. Zach came to the rescue. The bald eagle played his part, caught him, and 2 plays later, he ended up fumbling the ball. So yeah, that's just the way the game's played, and that's I think like Gail said, we need to relax, and we'll be fine. But here we are, we're 1-0.
And to that point, I don't give flowers to Cowboys often at all, and I'm not going to go into depth in this, but their offensive adjustments when Jalen went out was quick, and they knew exactly what they were going for. So I'll give them the props on that because they definitely found something that they wanted to take advantage of, and they did. And I kept watching. I'm like, when's the defense going to do the same thing? Realize it. And then as soon as they brought that man up in the box, I was like, there it is. And then we saw it kind of go stagnant because neither one, I felt, started to take the upper hand. They kind of figured each other out, and they started to go at it. So kudos to the Cowboys for a couple of those runs, but then thank you for Fangio stepping up, making those adjustments, and then holding them to where they did moving forward in the game.
Now, Darren asks, what number do we think Za'Darius is taking? You said what number? 41?
41. Take Cooper's old number.
Is that the number that you'll think he'll take?
It's definitely 90. I'm gonna say like 97. Let's go with 97.
That's more Jones' number.
Oh, is that a Jones number? Man.
What did he wear?
90? Now who's got 90? Nobody has 90.
That's Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis.
I'm sorry, damn. How about number 8? Yeah, I'll definitely give him number 8 again.
He's already giving away the number.
I would definitely give him number 8.
But he wore 55 for the Vikings.
55, yeah. Brandon's there. Nobody's touching Brandon's number.
Unless they let him wear it just for the season.
Maybe.
Sportskin says 96. No, what? Yeah. There's no one's taking 99.
Nah.
He wore 99 for Detroit, and then Vikings he wore 55, and I can't see what he wore for Cleveland.
Look who showed up for more excitement. Shout out to Alex in the building. He said, "What's up, fam? Go Birds." It's funny. Sometimes I go through the photos, and sometimes I'll forget to share all of them. But sometimes you go through the photos after tailgate just to go through the vibe, and then you get to a photo like this, and it's like, yeah.
The juggernaut was loose yesterday, boy.
This photo to me, I'm like, this guy did his all pro, first team all pro on the grill out there. Someone said, "So you're the chef," and this photo to me was like, "So you're the chef." Air quotes.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah. You're like, how do you want your burger? And then if you like, well done, and then Alex looks at you like, what did you say?
What did he say?
Did you say well done? No, you're gonna get it how I like it.
Nah, he was a monster. I mean, him and Evan were impressive yesterday. At one point, I walked up to Evan. I said, "How much cheesesteaks you got left?" He's like, "Why?" I took a picture of the line. I said, "You're gonna be done cheesesteaks well before you get halfway through this line."
Yeah, but sometimes you look in the comments and then people are like say dumb stuff. Someone's like, what is this, a fentanyl line at the tail? Like, I was like, you're getting blocked. I don't care who you are, you're getting blocked. People are in line for a cheesesteak and you're like some random online, but at the end of the day, I saw people having a good time. And I'm ready to do it again. I mean, obviously I'll be in KC next week, but we'll be back at it week 3. Okay, so once again, big shout out to everyone who attended. Man, it was a good time. It's the start of the season. There's no part of yesterday from the start to the finish that I regretted. I was out for 14 hours of the day and had the best time of my life yesterday. Besides winning the Super Bowl and all that other good stuff. Yeah. But just for an opener, a good time. Good time out there with a lot of the Eagle fans. It was great. It doesn't get old. It's just, I could smell this picture from here. I could smell this picture. It smells like cheesesteaks and a good time.
I mean, and shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody at the tailgate because there was a couple Dallas fans who showed their face, and from both sides, it never went too far. Love that. You know what I mean? They made sure they got it, but you're always in the back of your mind. You're like, are we gonna have to govern this or walk over? And respectful from all sides. I loved it. It was a good day.
Yeah, that's one thing I could tell you. We invite all comers to come to the tailgate, whether you're the opposing team or not. You know what I mean? And they saw it for themselves. Yeah. So shout out to my brother, my neighbor Ant. You know what I mean? He was a hit yesterday. But they both represented their teams, and they both took all the shit talking that was coming their way, and they had a great time. You know what I'm saying? And even the ones that they thought they were stealing the shine by standing in the middle of that crowd, and you know
That
what I mean,
circle, that one circle at
and
that point.
yeah, like, but hey, listen, man, that's just what we do, you know what I mean? Because we give them the good stuff and give them a good reason to go back and to tell their people, like, look, man, now you go to this tailgate, it ain't nothing like that, you know what I mean? They don't get the wrong impression about us; they get the better and the best impression, knowing to come to our tailgate and have a good time. So that's that's the goal that we always try to achieve every week.
Brianna says, I waited in line for literally an hour and 20 minutes. All worth it for them steaks.
Brianna's a truth.
Brianna, you gotta. It's just when you're like, yeah. Just look over at the tailgate line. You gotta throw a sign, and then I'll be like, I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to the chef. I'll talk to Evan.
I'm not gonna say anything. If Brianna came up and answered that, I'd be okay. There was one guy that walked up to me and said, "Dude, I'm starving. Can you just ask him for a cheesesteak?" And I said, "I don't know you. Sorry, I got other stuff I got to do." You see these people in line? I was like, "Dude, people, it would be a bad thing if I said yes to that."
Darren says, "Oh, and also thank Jake Elliott. It's looking like his old self again. Not for whoever that was last season. Off to his side. That kick was like, okay, Jake. I was like, I likes, but shout out to Underdog, man. Make sure you're out there. I know you play a lot of fantasy football, but have you been on Underdog, my friend? Underdog is the reason for the season. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and with win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. I think one play that I had last game was over 75 with Saquon. I think I got that wrong. Tush pushes might have been 2. We had 2. We had a higher on 2. We got that. I think moving forward next week, higher than 50 yards receiving, definitely AJ Brown. You want to go higher on. But those are just a couple. But obviously, you got to download the app today and sign up with promo code Jawn to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Jawn, JAWN. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on the Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. That's how easy it is. And I'll let my mans over here do the light work here.
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPEline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Must be 18.
I love it when if I could just hire someone to talk for me, I'd do it.
AI, bro. AI.
AI.
That wasn't you?
Carissa says Howie's made the call to Jerry first. Howie made the call to Jerry first. Micah and Jerry denied us. So I guess Jerry hasn't lost it altogether like we thought, but pretty damn close. Howie has been served. I heard that the whole Micah.
Yeah, it wasn't really going to happen.
Not from what I heard. Okay.
Yeah.
I have my own story on that one. And I think it's the right one. Brian says, what's your opinion on the offense play? Week one. And I think the Patullo. My thing with Patullo is figuring out how he wants to start maneuvering, because there's a lot of weapons to have, and I think just make sure you go with the take advantage of the mismatches. It's not you start catering to like I got to force feed AJ Brown because he's going to be upset. Not saying he is upset, but like obviously he wants more touches. But they'll get it together. I'm not I mean, on a one scale of concerned 1 to 10, where you guys on that offense was? You said what?
1. I mean, I'm not scared, bro. It's rust. That's all. You just got to get the rust taken out. We're good.
Yeah, and I'm like you guys. Why we get along because I'm a nerd about this. When I watched it back, it felt very much where the wide receivers were expecting to be blocking on some of these RPOs. Like as you watch him back and you see that DN crash on Jalen, and he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna." Normally he'd hand it off. He didn't hand it off, and he went to go throw the ball. So it kind of shocked me, and it seemed like some of the receivers were like, "Oh, I got to finish this route." Where he looked at Goddard and Goddard was safely in his window, which is why he kept feeding him. I was not upset, not worried. I impressed by Dallas playing their gaps. I mean, Saquon's going to find his space. He's going to get yards. It's not if, it's when. Like, it's going to happen.
You know what else is going to happen? We're going to be heading out to a couple trips. Philly Sports Trips. Shout out to Philly Sports Trips, the 2025 Birds Takeover. We got the Buffalo trip, the Dallas trip, Green Bay, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Minnesota, New York, Tampa Bay, and Washington. The first one is Kansas City, and then it's gonna get interesting. Tampa Bay with the Heat, Hollis, Lido, anything can happen. But some star-studded trips here. We got Todd Harriman's in Green Bay, which is already sold out. Tampa Bay already sold out. Shout out to LaShawn McCoy in Los Angeles. I think that'll be a good one. The last trip of the year, Buffalo. It's going to be the cold one. But the real ones will be there. But shout out to Philly Sports Trips. If you're looking for a trip, make sure you go to phillysportstrips.com and make sure you book. Make sure you follow them at Philly_sports_trips on IG, at SportsTripsPHL on X, Philly Sports Trips on Facebook for more information. Go Birds. Before we get out of here, Prime, I'll let you go first. Say it with your chest. Anything about yesterday that you have to say with your chest?
No, besides, the great time that we had, but just I don't know, I guess just I saw a lot of the younger crowd. Like my thing is, if you come to these tailgates, man, just come to have a good time. I feel like a lot of you guys come to these things to try to impress other people that you with, and then shit gets out of hand. You know what I mean? You kind of go overboard. Let's try to work on that this upcoming season. You know what I mean? Just come have a good time. You ain't got to impress nobody. You know what I mean? Just be yourselves. At the end of the day, we're all, we all show mutual respect to each other and we all have fun. But, I'm going to be one to tell you, man, if you start getting out of hand at our tailgates, I got to go ahead and play the sheriff. I got to lay the law down. So, you know what I mean? I'm trying to avoid that this year. I really am. Regardless if I'm on the PUP, that's not going to change. But, other than
if I got to be the muscle, I'll do it. I got 2 arms.
I mean, a lot of muscle showed up yesterday. I appreciate everybody that came through to help me because of my situation. Tim, you won. I'm really grateful. You know what I mean? Yesterday was clutch, man. How everybody just came to help out, and yeah, that was huge. But muscle ain't no problem, man. The way the muscle walked up yesterday, yeah, we get in that spot.
Tim,
Evan and I got to have a little conversation when we first arrived. So anybody who was able to join us yesterday, first off, thank you for coming. But it was not your regular parking situation because they are doing adjustments at Surfside Live or Stateside Live,
yeah,
whatever the hell we're calling it now. But the initial roll in, everybody's kind of thrown off guard because your normal path is off. I respect the guys who work in the lots and how they're doing, but to both Evan and I, they were not helpful. We're like, all right, so we're good to go in here. And he's like, does it look good? We're like, wow, there's a lot going on, bud. We're just trying to be respectful. Like, we're not trying to cause any problems. And we just looked at him and we were like, okay, so I guess we're all right. So we parked. But both him and I both looked at each other like, that just happened? Like everybody knows construction's going on. It's not your normal path to get over to G2. So it was a little bit of a learning curve yesterday, but it got figured out. But yeah, let's when you have something set up and you've been there for a couple days and done a couple concerts, you know what's going on. I didn't go to the Benson Boone concert the night before, so I'm figuring this out with you. So let's just slow down.
Shout out to DeMarcus. He says, see you boys in LA. If you don't know DeMarcus, go check him out. This guy's an actor. He's
Yes, sir.
jack of all trades. Got a lot of jokes, but always good vibes. But definitely see you out in LA. I'm gonna have a good time out in LA. But say it with your chest. I had one, but there's multiple. But one that's on my mind is, you know, I obviously love to go to Eagles games. I don't like to see fans acting out of character for like no reason versus other fans or even our own fans. So I mean, sometimes I'm like, am I getting old? I was like, am I getting old? Am I like? I was like, bro, I mean, I watched a couple, like maybe 2 games at home, and I was like, man, this is like great. You know, like just one, I could take a shower before the game. All right, this is, and I'm like, I don't know. Like yesterday hit me. I was just like, man, I just want to watch the game, and I don't want to be bothered.
Are we
I
getting
just
in that
wanna watch.
Lane Johnson, Brandon Gant? What are you?
No,
Calm down.
What I'm really trying to say, Eagles, can you put us in the booth?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice. I mean, just at certain times, I just don't want to be bothered with like drama, and whether it's like fans fighting or whatever. But I had a hard time.
Long days, man. It's those long days when we have those long day games.
I had a hard time. I had a hard time.
I'm not gonna even try and be in this conversation. I'm very spoiled with where I do pay for my seats, but I have a much different experience than most. I'll just say that.
Tim's experience. I watched the game from the club seats in Tim's section. I think Tim has one of the best seats in the house. I'm not even.
Yeah.
It's like if you were if you watch the Muppets and you see the guys up in the rafters, like, like that's Tim's seats. Like you look down at the peasants. You're like, there's no riffraff up here. No lines in the bathroom. I'm gonna go get myself a cheesesteak pizza. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Club level was enough. My life has changed ever since I've been up there, and now I don't want to go back.
Okay. Yep.
I said it for you.
I got no rebuttal. I
said it for you.
I love my seats. My wife and I love my seats. We are very, very blessed to be able to get those. And I am, believe it or not, still on the waiting list for any other section. But yep.
I'll take it. Darren G says, how's the rehab, Prime?
It's going good. But yesterday, I gotta tell you, man, yesterday was rough. Yesterday was rough. I got shoulder checked pretty bad. Kind of collapsed to the ground.
Is that Mark? Was that Mark that checked you?
Yeah, Juggernaut's dad. Accidentally. Right. Yeah. It was pretty bad. But
I watched it and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I think there was like about 6 reactions. It was one of those like boom boom hits that everybody was like, oh. Yeah, I went down for a little bit.
I told someone, I said, like, man, are you sore? I was like, man, I'm about 95 bro hugs in, and some of y'all be shaking hands like it's the last handshake. and I'm rubbing my arm. I'm like, damn, like what the hell? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, bro hugs. That's why I'm hurting over here. So obviously I got to get in the gym. I know that walking up to the 220 section from the steps, thought I was going to miss the banner. And the worst part, we're all there to see the banner drop. where my seats were. I didn't know they were going to be where they were. So I sit in my seat. And I'm thinking like, yes, gonna see the banner drop. That's really all I came for. I really that was the reason for the season is to see the banner drop. I get in my seat. They unveil the banner. I look over.
He gets the side of the banner.
That is the side of the banner. They rolled it down. They rolled it down. I didn't see anything. I'm like, out of all places in this stadium, that's the view I'm getting to this. I could have stayed home. I could have watched this at home.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's
man.
what it is. But once again, before we get out of here, just a big shout out to everyone that attended. Shout out to Bud Light for holding us down. Shout out to Sefeli's Pizza for giving Evan Hollywood Hearns the cheesesteaks under his wing. Shout out to Evan Hollywood Hearn. He's working hard, man. Shout out to Red Bull. Shout out to DJ Lowski and his crew of DJs, Head Trip, and the other guys that he brought along. We appreciate you guys for kicking it with us. But most importantly, shout out to Recover 180. You guys were like, on a hot day like it was, like we said, not normally a hot day tailgate, but you guys came out, you showed out for your first tailgate. It's one of many. Shout out to Rich and his crew. And make sure you check out the Recover 180 drink. I'm telling you, it's banging. It's banging. I'm not lying. I'm not lying at all. And I'm not even getting paid to say this. Okay.
No, and I'll say it dead honest. Got delivered to my truck. I'm ready to take it in, and then Gail and the gentleman that is the representative for this, Rich, you guys snuck away for a minute, and I was there with Evan, and I said, I really want to try this when nobody's here, because you never, if you're not 100% on it, you know what I mean. You just say, you give a smile and a nod. I tried it. I looked at Evan. I said, we're legit. Like, this is really good. I'm not. Some of the flavors, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, not a big mango guy, so I didn't go with mango. Rocket Pop, not sure how that is. Rocket Pop, kind of, it just the name, but it could be really good. But I stuck with the fruit punch and the berry, and when I say both of them, they've been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal. They're very good.
I'm on my ninth one.
I legit have drank 4 today. I put them in the fridge last night. Opened them today. I'm like, they're even better. Nice and icy cold.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. I mean, yesterday was a movie. But Tim, last word before we get out of here.
Last word was thank you everybody that came to the tailgates. For the new guys that popped on. Once again, a friend of mine owns a pretzel place, PFF Langhorne. They are going to be providing pretzels for the entire season. Pretzels are always a hit, but the pieces, everything just fell into place yesterday, except for my Jello shots that were no longer Jello shots. We're not going to touch on that. We got a little warm in the truck, let's just say, so they turned into lemon lime shots in Jello shot glasses. So, but everything went great, and the vibes from fans of different teams, from people just rolling in. You guys do this every week, every home game. Yes, we do. And it's going to stay that way. And we're going to continue to keep it respectful tailgate. So everybody can come, kids, grandmoms, aunts, cousins, come have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
I second that. I forgot what I was going to say. Old age is kicking my ass. But last word, again, man, appreciate everybody in the comments for sticking around. A lot of news popping off. There's going to be a lot of overreactions. There's going to be a lot of national pundits on beating their chest about Jalen Carter and what woulda, coulda, shoulda. Cowboy fans woulda, coulda, shoulda if Lamb would have made the catch or whatever, or if Jalen Carter would have played, what would have been the outcome. There's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, but what's factual is Eagles are 1-0. 1-0 going to KC. We're 1-0 in the division against a heated rival. There's nothing more else to be happy about. Being 1-0. I don't want to hear you crying on a victory Friday. I don't want to hear it. We're 1-0. This is how it looks. 1-0. After this week, it's on to the next. So if you're not in the same mindset of the Eagles, don't worry about it, sweetheart. You'll get there. Okay. But for me and the guys, we'll see you guys in the next one. As always, fly, Eagles fly. Deuces.